So Tiger Woods, not only a golfer, but was terrible. And there's no other way to say it. How bad? Tiger Woods was so bad in the opening round that a swarm, a grassroots movement of golf aficionados are begging Tiger Woods to give up, to toss in the sponge, say no mas, walk away from the sport that he has played since he was like 2 years old. This after Tiger went out and was 8 over par, shot a 79 in the opening round of the British Open, which I'm not a golf guy, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express recently. I'm told is not good. So the 48-year-old Tiger Woods has only played 4 events all year. We're now sitting in the middle part of the year. He's played 4 events. Now, Woods, if you go back, miraculously made the cut at the Masters, but then had a disastrous 10 over par round on that Saturday, which is supposed to be moving day where you move up. He moved down. That was the worst round of his career in a major tournament. And so now he has an 8 over par. Tiger also failed to make the cut at the PGA Championship and the U.S. Open. So he made the cut at the Masters, but then went 10 over, missed the cut, PGA Championship, U.S. Open, now 8 over par in the opening round of the British Open. So this debacle. Let us discuss. Are you going to go thumbs up or thumbs down? Is Tiger Woods ruining his iconic presence, his golf legacy, with all of these disastrous performances? So I've got Sigmund Freud, Schnazola, and CIA. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which is the top sandwich you can make when you're a kid, right next to a grilled cheese sandwich, which is slightly behind the peanut butter and jelly. So first of all, to answer the question, are you going to go thumbs up or thumbs down? Is Tiger Woods ruining his legacy? Very dramatic with these horrific performances. He's like the Hindenburg every time he goes out there. I'm going to go thumbs down. Why? Because I live in a little community called Realityville. I do. Listen, I'm not here to tell you that Tiger doesn't blow. He blows. He's terrible, right? He's washed up. This is the definition, right? It's the epitome of a washed-up athlete. And there's really nothing else to say other than that. He physically can't play at a high level right now. The soundtrack from Tiger Woods in these major tournaments has been bad to the bone. George Thorogood's bad to the bone. Now, nevertheless, we believe that all of these terrible performances will end up vaporized. Why? Because this is not our first rodeo. We've been to the rodeo before. All of this will be lost in time. You can thank Sigmund Freud. Now, Freud is credited with discovering a number of things, like childhood amnesia, for example, that we forget most of our memories. We reset our brains at a certain age. But also, he discovered that humans have a defense mechanism where they use to manage often traumatic experiences, but unwanted memories. And Tiger Woods is a car accident every time he's out there. Right? He's a car accident, but all of that will be forgiven and forgotten. All of it, right? Just like the others before him. Because there's two things. You've got the Sigmund Freud theory that people block out unwanted memories, but you also have the most powerful thing in marketing. And the reason that big companies always try to get kids hooked on their product is because once a mind is made up, it rarely, if ever, changes. In the advertising world, they've done market research that determines once you decide your favorite brand of toothpaste, for example, you're going to keep buying that toothpaste for the bulk of your life. And rarely will you change, right? Rarely change your mind. And the same thing goes. Like, listen, and Tiger Woods deserves it. He's the greatest golfer I've ever seen. I can't imagine anyone better than Tiger Woods. He doesn't have the all-time record and all that. He's got a few sidebar issues as well. But he's not alone in continuing to play, and they got to kick him off the course and all that. And Tiger can keep going for years and years. Emmitt Smith was terrible. He kept playing with a team called the Cardinals at the end of his career. Tom Brady, his last year in Tampa was an embarrassment. Nobody likes to talk about that because of, it's Tom Brady. Shaquille O'Neal. Do you remember Shaq played for the Cadavers, the Suns, and the Celtics at the end of his career? It was horrific. Patrick Ewing wore a supersonic uniform, NBA legend Ewing, and the Orlando Magic uniform at the end of his career. John Smoltz, who's on Fox every Saturday telling you how great he is as a broadcaster and a former player, he played for the Red Sox and the Cardinals and was a gas bag out there, throwing gas up there. Randy Johnson pitched for the Giants at the end of his career, baseball player. He was washed up. I can go on and on. Go on and on. All right, now, secondly, will Tiger Woods, will the Tiger Woods story end anytime soon? Meaning, while Tiger has been drowning during the opening round of the British Open, is the story going away? No. Today will be a story, and it'll continue. It'll still be a story next week because Tiger, either he'll talk to the media, he won't talk to the media, but if he'll talk to the media, he'll say something. But right now we have an international incident involving Tiger Woods, and this involves a broadcaster who made headlines. And this after Tiger looked, he looked a little confused, a little frustrated, a little annoyed. It was quite the quagmire for Tiger Woods out there, and he was showing his emotions on his sleeve following the 14th hole of that disastrous opening round at the British Open. The Sky Sports broadcast out of Europe, the Sky Sports broadcast, an analyst named Mark Rowe. I have no idea who this is, but Mark Rowe gave a theory. He hypothesized that Tiger Woods' fiery demeanor was the result of him being heavily medicated. Rose said, quote, uneven ground, talking about Tiger Woods, and you look at the eyes. You look at the eyes. You got to think, this is what he said, this is a quote, you got to think there's quite a lot of painkillers being taken to cope with the pain. You know? All right, so that's what he said. Now, that ruffled some feathers. Did the golf announcer cross the line? And people demanding an apology by saying Tiger Woods takes a lot of painkillers. Now, my answer, breaking down the commentary, is no way. And here's why. I say no. I do not need some kind of machine. I don't need AI. I am a human lie detector. No lies were tossed, right? Using my schnozola, no lies were tossed out. Sniffing out, I love sniffing out stuff like this. It is common knowledge that Tiger has had surgery on top of surgery, mostly because of his bad knees and his back. He's almost 50 years old now. He survived a severely broken leg, which should have been a career-ending injury, the ankle injury in particular. His ankle was crushed, was absolutely crushed in that infamous car accident here in Southern California, not that far away from where we broadcast from. It's more likely than not that the guy from Sky Sports, Mark Rowe, I'm more of a fan of Mike Rowe, but Mark Rowe was right. Now, if not, there's a simple solution for Tiger Woods. He can file a slander lawsuit because it was spoken word. He can file a slander lawsuit. And then, of course, you have to go through the court system. And depending on where you file the court system, you have this thing called discovery, which means every single drug that you're taking, and I'm sure there are some, right? Assume there are some that he's taking to manage the situation he's got with his body. All of that will be public knowledge. All of that will be on the public record, so you have that option. All right, now, final thought. We're going to pivot to baseball quickly. The Bronx is a-burning. A report saying Yankee skipper Aaron Boone, believe it or not, there'll be baseball today. Can you believe that? Today's Friday, and baseball's back. So anyway, the Yankees, after a week hiatus, the Yankee skipper Aaron Boone, a report out of Gotham, says he is managing for his job. He is very dramatic. He's managing for his job the rest of the season. So, true or false? Is Aaron Boone managing for his job going forward here in the stretch run in 2024? So that is I'm going to put an F. Hold on a second. That's an F. That's false. All right. I am agnostic on this. I'll tell you why. I have heard so many stories over the years about Aaron Boone and Dave Roberts, and these guys are going to lose their job every time the Dodgers vomit all over themselves in the playoffs or the Yankees publicly defecate in a postseason series. I hear that Boone's gone in New York and that Dave Roberts is out in L.A., and I don't believe it. Seeing is believing. In the case of Aaron Boone has built up a term from the CIA. They're the ones that coined it in the mainstream. It goes back to Watergate. It's called plausible deniability. Plausible deniability. Denying responsibility. Because Aaron Boone, let me explain how. Right? So Aaron Boone is just a middle manager. He's merely repeating the talking points memo from Brian Cashman and all of his elves that are working for him and the analytical department and all that. So you can't get rid of Aaron Boone, because if you get rid of Aaron Boone, you got to get rid of Brian Cashman, and Brian Cashman has lifetime employment. He's like a tenured professor at a university. They can't seem to get rid of him. You can bring in a bag full of vipers, and Brian Cashman will still continue to go on and on and on. I mean, it just does not end. It does. You can't get rid of Cashman, and he's got a ton of money to play with, big-time money to play with, and yet the Yankees, it doesn't seem to work. You know, they've won their share of championships. I think they'll be okay going another, 30 years without winning a championship. But I digress. It is the